Have you ever wondered how a local music scene just explodes onto the national stage? Well, in Oklahoma, it's not just about the artists anymore. We're going to look at two specific platforms that are basically acting as massive amplifiers, and they're completely changing the game for homegrown hip-hop talent.
So, let me ask you, what does Oklahoma really sound like? I want you to forget whatever you think you know. Right now, the state's hip-hop identity is being forged and broadcast through a whole new lens. And trust me, it's making a ton of noise for a very good reason.
And right at the heart of this whole movement, you've got a couple of key players who are making the state's hip-hop culture simply impossible to ignore. And listen, these aren't just your typical media outlets. Think of them more like the main gateways for the entire world to discover Oklahoma's raw talent.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about the ultimate street test for any artist in the state. I mean, this is the place where reputations are either made or totally broken. We're talking about the Grit and Go Cypher.
And make no mistake, Grit and Go has become the undisputed proving ground. It's like a cultural checkpoint. If you can step into that circle and hold your own, you're recognized as authentic. You're seen as someone who's truly dedicated to their craft.
The whole philosophy here is just brilliantly simple. Strip everything away. We're talking no filters, no excuses, and absolutely no politics. Forget studio tricks, forget industry connections. None of that matters here. It all comes down to one thing.
And that's it. Just pure mic dominance. It's all about your bars, your presence, your breath control. It's about your ability to, stand on business. This is where you prove you have the fundamental skills to really compete.
And that's exactly why it's so effective. Think about it. Every cypher is a live, high-pressure moment with literally nowhere to hide. An environment like that, it forges stars by exposing every single weakness. The thinking is simple. If you can shine in that circle, you can shine anywhere. But look, raw skill is only half the equation, right? And that's where the second platform comes in. It builds the other equally crucial half of an artist's identity, their story. And that platform is King Spencer's Come Through Tulsa. So, if Grit and Go is where you test your skill, Come Through is where you explore your story. But I gotta be clear about this. This is not your typical interview just to promote a new single. No way. It goes much, much deeper. What Come Through does is give you the why behind the music. It's where artists share where they come from, what they've lived through, and how Oklahoma's unique environment has shaped their voice. This is what gives fans a real, genuine human connection.
And the guy behind all of this is King Spencer. He's called The Architect, a self-made documentarian who literally built this platform from the ground up with just a camera and a mission. You see, he's not just interviewing people, he is consciously building an archive of the scene stories, creating a cultural legacy in real time. So we've got these two very different platforms. One tests raw skill, the other explores deep character. So how do they work together? Well, this is where the magic really happens. It's actually a perfect formula. They're a complementary system. The Grit and Go Cypher shows the skill. It proves you can really rap. Then, Come Through Tulsa shows the depth. It proves you actually have a voice. And this creates a super clear path for an artist. Step 1, you go to Grit and Go to earn your stripes and get that credibility. Step 2, you go on Come Through to build a real connection with an audience. An artist who can succeed on both of those platforms, that's the full package. Because here's the thing you gotta understand. The talent was never the issue in Oklahoma. It was always there. The problem was visibility. And these two platforms are solving that problem by acting as these powerful, dedicated amplifiers for the voices that deserve to be heard. So what's the bigger impact here? What does all this mean for the future of Oklahoma hip-hop? Well, we're not just talking about some fleeting moment. This is about defining an entire scene for years to come. You see, these platforms aren't just passive observers. They're not just reporters capturing what's already happening. Their role is much more active, much more foundational than that.
They are defining it by choosing who to feature, by shaping the narrative, and by setting the standard for both skill and storytelling. They are actively building the culture. They're creating the very foundation that future artists in the state are going to stand on.
And this quote right here really says it all. The time for waiting and hoping is over. Thanks to these amplifiers, the message is crystal clear. Oklahoma hip-hop isn't coming anymore. It's already here, and it is demanding to be heard.
Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating question for the future, doesn't it? With this powerful new formula for developing artists, combining that raw skill with deep storytelling, it feels less like a question of if a national star will emerge, and a lot more like a question of who it's going to be. The world is watching.